How many times do you risk your life just to have a good time? Unintentional fatal drug overdose nearly doubled from 1999 to 2004. Drug overdose is the second leading cause of accidental death in the United States behind automobile crashes. Illicit drugs that are used to get high may be taken in overdose amounts when the person's metabolism cannot detox the drug fast enough to avoid unintended side effects. Drug overdoses are usually life-threatening and preventable. The risk of an overdose is especially great when the user does not know the drug's content or strength, which means when you buy them from the street, you probably don't know either. Some of the overdose warning signs are the person may be nauseous or vomiting, they may appear to be sleeping, they may fail to respond if you call their name or if you shake them, they may make snorting or grumbling noises, and their lips or fingernails may turn blue. If you see any of these signs, you have to call 911 right away. In this speech, I'm going to show you the dangers of using drugs, not just by stating facts, but mainly by sharing my own personal experiences and losing my friends to this battle. I myself have overcome a problem with drugs. I have been clean for 7 years. The battle was not easy, but I fought it and I won. Sadly, everyone I know has not. When I met Brooks John Fagan, he was in youth group. He was a good kid who was really into God and baseball, and he never did drugs in his life. We hung out, we went on a lot of road trips, and we had a lot of fun together. Then eventually one day he started experimenting with drugs. He was never an avid drug user. He didn't use every day, just every once in a while, like at a party. The last time I saw Brooks, it was the worst that he ever was. He was on cocaine, acid, and ecstasy. When I asked him if he wanted to go home or if he needed to ride home with us, he said no, and he'd be all right. The next day, I talked to his mom on the phone, and she asked me if I saw him, if he was all right, and I lied to her and said that Brooks is a good kid and he's fine. He's smart. He's doing absolutely great. A few days later, he was found in Markham Park, face down in the dirt, just in his boxer shorts, no shoes, no socks. He was dead. He was given fake ecstasy, which is called PMA. On the streets, it's instant death or doctor death. If you combine this lethal dose with MDMA, you'll overheat and you'll die. This also shows the dangers of how on the street you never know what you're going to get. It brought a lot of pain to Brooks' family. His mother couldn't even talk at the funeral. And even a few months later, when I went to her house for Christmas, she brought me in his room, and she brought me in his closet, and she's like, "You can still smell him. You can still smell him in here, right?" She still misses him a lot to this day. Billy Goldman was my friend from high school. And we did date shortly, and he drove me crazy. I'm sure I drove him crazy too. Billy grew up to have a beautiful daughter named Bella Diem. He joined the Army, and he had quit doing drugs. He wasn't using anymore at all. One night he picked up again, and that was to be his last. There's Billy and Bella Diem. And there's Billy and Bella Diem. Billy had not used in a long time, and he lost his tolerance to drugs, so that one fatal hit he took, he didn't come back from. When I had to go to Billy's funeral, I hadn't seen him in a few years, and I didn't think I was going to take it as bad as I did. I knew I'd be sad, but I didn't think I'd take it that bad. But walking up and seeing him in his coffin, somebody that I hung out with every day and went to high school with every day, was one of the most awful moments in my life. Patrick White was fun and full of life. I met him when I moved to Florida, and he was a bouncer at one of my local bars, and he would always make me laugh, and he'd always walk me to my car to go home. This is Pat. He left Florida and moved back to New York to be with his friends and family and to be a fitness instructor and an LA Fitness. He also had a son back here in Florida that he'd come back and visit and spend time with, named Hunter. Pat overdosed on a speedball. It is a mixture of coke and heroin, lethal because the coke raises the pulse and the heroin lowers it. I wasn't aware that Pat was using again either, But one of the bad things he did is when you mix two drugs together, that's even more lethal and could kill you a lot easier. This is also a picture of Brooks the last time I saw him. If you have a friend that has a problem, talk to him. And if you can't get through, talk with their family. It is worth it. The best way to avoid OD is not to use drugs at all. If you feel you have a problem, talk to someone who can help you. And if you want to go somewhere that's private and confidential, you can go to NA meetings. NA meetings usually have every few days. You can go and you can talk for free and to people, and they won't tell anybody, and it's completely confidential. Know that you're worth it and you're worth to quit, and know that your family does not deserve the pain. And the most important thing to know is that it can happen to you. Everyone wants to think they're invincible, and they can't, but it can and it will. Every day lose their lives for fun. Families and loved ones are left behind. Every time you take a pill, you're risking your life. Thank you.